Let's have a look at part B now. At what level of the tax is the tax revenue maximized? Now, before we do the math over here, what's the intuition? Why do we have a tax that necessarily maximizes the tax revenue? Because look, the relationship between the tax revenue and the proportional tax is quadratic with a negative coefficient, meaning that if we draw this on a graph, so if we plot the tax revenue on the y-axis as the dependent variable and the proportional tax on the x-axis, it's gonna look something like that, meaning that we have a level of the tax that maximizes the tax revenue. And what's the meaning behind it? Well, if the tax is too much, if the tax is too high, people have a smaller incentive to work, so they will work less. The labor supply is gonna go down, and if the labor supply is gonna go down, then the tax revenue collected from that labor supply also goes down, meaning there's gonna be a sweet spot where we can charge a certain amount of tax for the people, so that the taxes we collect from their labor is gonna maximize our revenues. That's the intuition. Now, mathematically, what does that mean? Well, that means that we have this slope on the top of the graph where it is equal to 0, meaning that the derivative, that's what the slope is, the derivative of the tax revenue with respect to the proportional tax must be equal to 0. In other words, we have to differentiate this function over here. So let's do it term by term. 19,000 times t derivative with respect to t is going to be just the constant of 19,000 minus 20,000 times t squared derivative. We keep the constant of minus 20,000, and t squared derivative with respect to t is going to be equal to 2 times t. All of this must equal to 0. So this must equal to 0. What we can do, we can take the term with the tax to the other side, which is minus 20,000 times 2, that becomes 40,000 on the other side, meaning that 19,000 equal to 40,000 multiplied with the tax. And if we divide both sides by 40,000 to get rid of the numbers, then tax is going to be equal to 19k divided by 40k, which is equal to 0.475. 0.475. In other words, a proportional tax of 47.5% would be optimal. 47.5% would be optimal to collect tax revenues. Hope this makes sense. Next video we go to part C.